Welcome to Stable Studio, Steph here. A few of you have been asking me about a licks video, so I thought I'd attempt it. I've been losing sleep over it, I've got to be honest. I think about kind of concepts a lot when I'm playing lead guitar, less than like running a lick that is just, you know, saved in my memory or whatever. I'm thinking more about a concept, and I'll explain that as we go. But first of all, the backing track at the beginning is in B major, and it's based on a song called Stubborn Pride by the Zac Brown Band featuring Marcus King. If you haven't heard of Marcus King yet, where have you been? It's a great song and it's lovely to solo over. So if you like a copy of the backing track I've just been using, it does actually ramp up throughout the backing track. It kind of becomes louder and bigger, and it's fun to play over. But if you'd like a copy, it's link in the description below. It's completely free. Just click on that and grab that backing track for yourself to have a bash. It's just something I knocked up in the studio, so yeah, hopefully you enjoy that. So I played a few licks and I repeated them for my own benefit as much as everybody else's, to try and remember what it is I did, because like I say, it's different every day. I do have odd licks that pop up and that I do quite often, and I've tried to include some of those today. But anyway, let's just show you what I was doing at the beginning there. So I was starting in the B major pentatonic. So we're in B, and we've got, let's turn that off, B major pentatonic, or you can think of it as G sharp minor pentatonic if you want, if it's easier to visualise that way. But same notes, different day, right? So if you haven't seen the video on playing over a dominant seventh chord that I did, go and watch that as well. But that talks about the major pentatonic here being right next to, or right on top of, the minor pentatonic, position 5. And the reason I'm saying this is because the lick I did first is kind of out of that sort of concept that I'm thinking about. So the B minor pentatonic, position 5, is right on top of the B major pentatonic. So this first lick starts in the major pentatonic. I think that's what I did. But I'm using the major pentatonic, but then sliding to the minor third, which is obviously outside the major pentatonic, and then we're into the minor pentatonic, and then back to the major third. So it's predominantly major pentatonic with a minor third thrown in there. And I find that, actually from listening to myself back lately, I find I do a lot of licks that have this phrasing where I'm doing lots of little slides, and I think this is down to listening to a lot of Ford Thurston, Guthrie Trapp, Josh Smith, all those kind of guys, Marcus King for one as well. I love all that little slippery, slidey, phrasey thing where they, all that sort of phrasing. And thanks for that one, Rob. I'm going to shout out to my mate Rob, who played that when he came for a lesson on Wednesday. And I was like, what'd you do there, Rob? I was like, I hadn't thought about that. So anyway, cheers for that. So, first lick. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing there. 6th to 7th fret, 4th fret. I just did the major pentatonic. You can do it on the string set above that if you like. Wherever you want. But I'm always doing these little slides. Then I think I went just down to the root. I did some of this sort of stuff. Playing the major third and the root. Third here, root here. And then the 5th here and the root here. So that's the kind of the first area I was working on. So then the next lick I did was kind of like a little sort of sweep picking beginning to it. I don't do a lot of sweep picking. It's not really my bag, but little kind of arpeggios and stuff. That kind of, it was something like this. I'll watch the video back later and I'm sure it would be different, but it was, in my head, it was meant to be something like that. I think it was that. Anyway, so B major, that's why I don't teach licks very often, right? B major triad, 9, 8, 7, a little rake or sweep across those, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm hitting the 9th fret on the B string here, which is it's the 6th to the B, and then I'm bending it up to the flat 7 of the B. So, and then I'm just doing some pentatonic stuff on the way down. So, down scale, and then I do this a lot. 7, 7 on the 2nd string and 3rd string, 7 on the 2nd string, 7 on the 3rd string, finishing on the root. And then I think I join that to like a little Mixolydian run that I do. Now this is a lick that I do overuse. If you look back on any videos, whether it's Instagram stuff or whatever, I always yeah, this one's definitely in my DNA, this one. And this is just playing it slowly, so it's just a Mixolydian thing. So I'm just thinking E major at this point, because E major is the same as B Mixolydian, right? And I'm just playing, hammering on and pulling off from the 6th to the 7th, which is the 6th and major and flat 7th of the B. And then sliding in from the minor 3rd to the major 3rd, which is 5th and 6th fret on the A string. And sometimes when I do that lick, that's it. It's hard to play slow. Sometimes when I get to the end of that lick, what will I do? Oh yeah, I'll do that. I have to play at speed for my brain to work. I'll play the major 3rd again, and then the flat 7th, which really nicely outlines that dominant 7th thing, if you're in a bluesy thing. And sometimes from there, I'll go back to this B, just here, to get me back into the major pentatonic. So anyway, that's that bit. So all together, that kind of thing. The last one, I'll put a couple of licks together, and this is one that I do overuse as well. I say I don't play licks, I obviously do, don't I? Because these two I play all the time. this kind of thing, a little major run. And basically what it is, it's just like a B major scale thing. So I'm starting on the 5th to the B, which is the F sharp, which is on the 9th fret there. Then I'm playing the B, the root note, the B on the 9th fret on the 4th string. And then sliding 11 and 13 on the 4th string. So I went the Saints, isn't it? When the Saints. Almost. And then it's kind of an arpeggio from there. It's a little B major arpeggio there, which is 13, 11, 12. Comes from there. Comes from the C shape. So, and then sometimes I'll play the 11th fret again, and then the 14 on the B string. So that's the Keith Scott coming out in me. The Brian Adams guitar player Keith Scott was a very early influence of mine, and all that kind of stuff. So that was the first part of it. Sometimes if I'm in a minor key, I'll do the same thing. And I'll do that kind of thing, which I'll maybe do on another video, but yeah. I digress. And that took me up into the B major, kind of up here. So then on the way down, little kind of almost Mixolydian blues thing on the way down, which is and I'll do kind of like a little ghost note in the middle. So it's 10, 9 on the B string here. And then it's chromatic 11, 10, 9 on the 3rd string. Little ghost note, and then the minor 3rd, major 3rd, and root, which is 6, 7. No, it's not. It's 7 and 8. Where am I on the guitar? 7, 8, and the root note. And then I just do the same thing down another octave. Well, almost the same thing down another octave. If I can play it properly. So there you go. So that's all of the licks in that first part, or most of them. So this last part. So let's go through them all with a track, and then hopefully give you something to have a go at. Same again. Little slide there as well. Next one. Third lot. thing though about me using a concept rather than an actual lick, because I go and try and repeat it and it's not quite what I did at the beginning. But anyway, it gives you an idea. Something else that you can kind of take away from this, I think, is to take some licks you already know, take some really, really, really simple licks, and just focus on phrasing. Phrasing is just the number one thing. You know, if you listen to any of those kind of guys that I mentioned earlier, like Ford Thurston, Guthrie Trapp, you know, Josh Smith, Marcus King, so much of what they do is in the phrasing. The licks aren't necessarily that expensive as far as kind of complicated note choices or anything. You know, it's more of a case of they've phrased them really, really nicely, and sometimes it's down to just playing a note that's outside that lick or outside the scale that you're using and just slide it in, and that's a great way of just making a lick sound more expensive, right? So I know I use that word all the time, but when you're a musician for a living, making things sound expensive is kind of what I do, really. But in a simple kind of way, because then you can pay the bills, right? So to give you an example, that lick that I did at the beginning, I could play it without that little slide, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It sounds great. As soon as I add the little slide, that's where it makes it kind of expensive, in my opinion. The same with, you can kind of, real simple little minor pentatonic lick, right? But you can add, rather than, nothing wrong with that little quarter note bend there. You could, again, one of those little slides. Thanks, Rob. All that kind of thing. Take a minor pentatonic lick that's, which is a famous kind of bluesy one, isn't it? Minor third to major third. Do the little slide instead of the hammer on, or even slide into the major sixth here as well. All those little slides, I love all that. For me, that just takes the phrasing up a level. So anyway, hopefully it's given you something to have a go at today, and hopefully I haven't done the worst job ever as a licks video. But as I've said before, because I look at shapes in my head and patterns and concepts, I'm less likely to kind of memorize a lick. I'm more likely to just go for a shape or a pattern. I'm generally looking at either arpeggios, chord shapes, part of scale shapes or whatever, and I just go for it. And sometimes the licks come out really nicely, sometimes they don't quite come out how I want them to, but that's okay. I think, you know, constantly learning. But generally I'm trying to hear the melody in my head, and I'm trying to find where that is on the fretboard and use a shape or a pattern to accompany it, rather than actually learning a lick note for note. So yeah, anyway, let me know how you get on in the comments. Please get involved in the discussion. I read every single comment, and I love reading what you send me. So please keep the comments coming. If you haven't already subscribed and you've enjoyed today's video, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell as well, so you're notified whenever I post. I'm doing my best at the minute to post at least once a week. And then hit the like button if you've enjoyed it today. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.